Here he is.
The method actor speaks.
The method actor speaks. The method actor speaks.
And I can't touch her knees. We're back with Sharon Farrell. And we're going to talk a little bit about your book today and how to get it out there to the public and publicists.
I wrote this book. I started writing the book, and then I met this guy who I fell in love with. His name is Jesse D. Young, and his name is on the book. When he put the name on the book, I got pissed off because I said, I wrote this book, you know. And he said, listen, he said, I know you wrote the book, but he said, I've worked on this, you know, for hours and hours, because people have to, they have to do the content, and they have to have the time, and the time has to be right. And I'd sit down, and I'd just write. So he edited the book. He edited the book. But, you know, what the hell, I just want to get it out there. I don't care whose name is on it, really. And also, he did do a lot. He wrote a thing in the beginning, how, you know, like, how can you sit and listen? You love this woman.
Right. How
can you sit and listen to her talk one lover after another? How can you sit there and do that? He was married to a woman in Denmark who was a sexual worker, a sex worker.
So he can
handle it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I could handle, you know, you come back home to me and you tell me, like, how this woman, like, wanted you to do this and that, and you did it, and I couldn't handle that. I'd go out there and kill her. I'd just go murder the person, you know. Anyway, that's Jesse D. Young, and he did help me, and I was going through terrible. I was in a wheelchair when I met him, and I was really angry at this. I got tricked. They just dragged me to that mental hospital, and I got so angry. I bet my breath smells because I got out of bed and I washed my hair and I just came over here. I was so afraid.
Your breath smells great.
Well, like I'll drink some coffee, so it'll be coffee breath.
Coffee breath in the morning. Why did you write the book?
Because I was angry.
That's interesting.
I was just so mad at that hospital, what they did to me. I was just really mad at that mental hospital that I accidentally got thrown into. Oh, I don't know. You know, so I started writing the book out of anger. And then I just kept writing. And he kind of thought, and he pressed me, he said, keep writing, keep writing, keep writing. And he would have me write, he'd say, when Bob Hope sent for you from New York to come, he said, how did it feel I want to know how it felt when you got in that limousine. You're from Sioux City, Iowa. You'd never been in a limousine before. How did you feel? I didn't think that would be that interesting. You know, how did I feel? You know, it's like.
Well, how did you feel?
Oh, limo. I kind of funeral-ish. You know, limo, you know, like who's dead, where are we going, that kind of thing. But, you know, it was also very exciting and everything else. But, so little things, he'd say, I need more about this, I need more about that. So I'd really get graphic, you know. And it was a catharsis for me. It started healing me. You know, when I got raped in Fiji,
right.
I got raped first by one guy that climbed over my compound, climbed over barbed wire fence, and I woke up with this guy on top of me.
Is this in there too?
Yeah, that's in there. And then later on, I'm going through therapy in Fiji with a lady in Suva, you know, because battered women, men in Fiji, they beat their wives, they kick their dogs, you know. It's a male society, and the women are putting a stop to it.
Hopefully.
They're putting a stop to it over there. And their women are fabulous.
It's not only in Fiji,
men are great
it's all over the world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, women are abused by men.
Yeah.
And there's no call for it.
We're lucky here.
You know,
we're lucky here.
There's no excuse for hitting a woman or beating a woman.
Well, we can be so impossible. We can get in somebody's face
Still
and we can put somebody down and we can do all kinds of things. You're right. Because when a woman does that to you, you just walk out the door.
Walk out the door.
You walk out the door. You don't
punch a wall.
You don't punch
or something.
No, don't do that. You're going to hurt your hand.
Well, I did a few times.
Oh, my son did that. And I said, you don't do that. You walk away.
Well,
and it's the best advice I ever gave him.
Well, it's better than hitting a woman.
You don't know your own strength.
Yeah.
You do not know your own strength.
Well, I know you
Technical
know
actors. You know, so I told you this. I was telling you about Stephen
McQueen?
Hill,
Stephen Hill.
hitting me and hitting me so hard that he knocked me out. And he is a method actor, and he's a great actor, but technically is not.
Right.
You know, I doubt whether you ever did that again to anybody though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? He kind of learned
or...
he learned his lesson, I think, and it was sort of accidental because the cameraman at the last minute said, "No, it'll be better from another angle." You know, and it was like, you know, and all of a sudden action, and we're doing it, and you know, and then he slugs me.
Well,
but,
there are some actors that do that, and they, I don't know what is with them. It's they don't like women or whatever.
I did it once. I slugged Burt Reynolds because I just wanted him so badly. I was so sexed up over him, and he was messing with me.
Is that in there?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I can't remember. For 3 years, I just wrote and sobbed and just, you know, and then Jesse would drag something else out of me, and then he'd say the timeline. I said, well, I don't know when I did these things. I usually would say, well, when Chance was born, I did this and that. You know, I could count from 1970, kind of, but I didn't know. Right now, I don't know what I go from. I guess the book,
Right.
because you asked. Somebody asked me, when did this happen? I said, oh, last year. And I said, no, because the book. I've been writing this book for 3 years, so I can kind of judge my life like when it happened, because sometimes I get mixed up on you know, like whether something happened 2 weeks ago or it happened 2 days ago or a month ago. Well, no. I've always been like that.
Oh, really?
I mean, ever since no, I haven't always been like that. It was I had that embolism and my heart stopped, and you know, I do have a bit of brain damage, but I can memorize lines and hit my marks and show up on time.
Now, we were talking before. I was making some Italian gravy. We're going to have that after the show.
He's the best cook, and this coffee is like a breath of Italy. It's wonderful.
But what we were talking about getting the book out there. How do you get the book for the public to know about it? The publicists. When you mentioned what a publisher should be, what?
You know, publishers are wonderful because they can really push.
Yeah, publicists.
But they're very, very expensive. Publishers, if you could have a manager cannot negotiate for you. If you get a role, a manager cannot negotiate. You have to have an agent or a lawyer. Mm-hmm. A publicist can't. He can't submit you. He can't.
No.
You know, they've got everything all blocked off, so nobody can really. You know, you got to have 5 people helping you do things, and by that time you don't have any money because they take it off the gross. And like what you get is like, you know, you don't get anything, and we don't get anything anyway with our unions. You know, it's like a joke. Anyway. There are some publicists around that. I mean, Ed Lozzi's a wonderful publicist. If he could like negotiate and be a manager, he'd be. But I don't even think he'd want to do that.
I have a friend, John Diamora, who wrote a book, The Boss Always Sits in the Back, and I know he takes his book all over the country.
Does he?
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's got. I wonder if he's got a publisher.
He does, and it's a small one. And I will, and you know what? We'll talk to him.
But I do need, because I wrote this book really way down deep underneath it all. I thought maybe I could pop out again because nobody seemed to know who I was. Of course, you know, a lot of people don't know who Steve McQueen is. They think he's that black director from England.
Right.
They don't know that Steve McQueen in 1970 was the highest paying actor and star in the entire world.
Mr. Cool.
Mr. Cool, and that he was.
Yeah, that's what they call Mr. Cool, who happens to be. He was a member of the Actors Studio.
I didn't even know that.
Yes, he was.
I didn't know that. See, he never talked about that.
A lot of talent. What I noticed a lot is people who have talent don't need to advertise.
They don't like yatter about it all the time.
Right, because they're comfortable with who they are.
Yeah.
And you get the people who are not comfortable, the insecure actors and this and that are always. It's almost like stand-up comics. I know a lot of them. I have my cousin Camille Solari is a stand-up comic, but she doesn't come across that way.
What's her name?
Camille Solari.
And she's a stand-up
Yeah,
comedian.
and she's also.
She's a cousin of yours?
Yeah, she comes from the legit side of the family. I tell people.
I still want to find out about all that prison stuff.
Well, she's also a wonderful director. And
really?
Yes, and a writer. She produced, wrote, and starred in her own movie.
Oh my God!
She
What
really-
a whip! That's
Yeah,
great.
matter of fact, I asked her, to come on the show and to meet you.
Oh, I
Because
would
you,
love
you,
to
you
meet
two
her.
would love, and with your book and everything. Now I lost. We were talking about. Oh, I was talking about stand-up comics.
Yeah, stand-up comedy, or people
the most
talking
deep-
about being part of the method.
But no.
and
With
Dr.
stand-up
Studio and
comics,
all
I
this.
met. They're the most depressing people I've ever met in my life. When you be around them, I mean, because most of their comic comes from self-pain. So.
Oh yeah.
They-
Yeah,
they
well,
really-
you have to laugh at it because otherwise
laugh
you'd
at
just
it,
be
but I mean, they're
sobbing
very
away,
depressing to be
every
around.
day. Oh yeah,
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
you need.
that's true.
And you need you need
Chevy
somebody out
Chase
there.
is really depressing to be around.
A stand-up comic, these are
Yeah.
comics.
And it's like he's always trying to make a joke, and it's like half the time nobody's even laughing, you know?
It's
But he's practicing on everybody, and he is funny. When
Yeah.
somebody else writes his lines and stuff, he's funny and he's wonderful. But he is. I met him in Hawaii, and he was tossing his Coke bottle around, and I was with Olivia Newton-John, and he had just gotten married. He flew in that night, and he had just married somebody. They were in their wedding outfits,
wow.
and they got into a fight at the table, and he stayed. He stayed with us, and she just walked off.
Really?
Yeah, she just
Are
ran
they still
away.
married?
I don't know. It's like how.
I love his vacation movies with Beverly D'Angelo.
Oh, Beverly! I love Beverly.
I do too.
She
Yeah.
is so free with her nude. She can be nude and run around, and
She's very talented. She's a great singer.
Oh, is she really?
Oh, she can sing. She was promised. She did there was some role that she was promised, but they gave it to somebody else. One of those very famous country western singers. But Beverly D'Angelo can sing. She comes from her
She
father
can
had
act.
a band.
She's a good
She
actress.
can act, yes.
She's a great actress.
She was great on
I loved
that
her.
show.
I did a
HBO.
painting of her because
Did
I
you?
loved her so much. Yeah, I did. I did a painting. She doesn't even know
Maybe
I
this will
did it.
get to her and we'll get her to come on.
Oh, yeah.
We need you,
Beverly, where
She
are
is,
you?
but what a
and she
singer.
gives great foot massages. She
Does
gave
she?
me a great foot massage. I love Beverly.
That's not in the book,
We
is
did
it?
it. I don't know whether it's in there or not. I can't remember. And when I try to read it, I start bawling and crying.
Really?
It's like real hard for me to read. So in a way,
But let's get back to getting you.
I want to just pop out and work again. That's what I want to do.
Well, you should be
I want to
working.
work in roles and be paid. I want to be paid. I'm doing all these things now where it's like it's $50 or it's $100 a day. $100 a day, and you're doing a movie. I can't live on that.
No.
I want to do a if I could have anything in the world and money were no object and people were not going to get in the way or anything else, I'd like to be in a comedy. I'd
You'd
like
be
to
great
do a
at
comedy.
comedy.
I would love to do a comedy. That's what I'd like to do.
Okay. Well,
But I'm really I'm happy just doing this. This is work for me.
work?
It's work. There's the camera.
Well,
There's
I
the
understand what
inky
you're saying, yes.
There's the set.
And the lighting is great.
The
you
lighting
said.
is good.
And coming from a woman, then you know that's it.
And
And what do you call
the
that light you put
poppies-
over there?
Well, that's a little inky dink.
Inky dink. I never knew that
I
term.
used to bring the camera. I made friends when I worked. I always made friends with the cinematographer.
Oh yeah,
And
the
I would
DP.
I'd bring them a bottle of brandy, and I'd say, "Please light me, make me look good. Give me that inky dink." And the inky dink is that little camera. It's usually right under the camera, and it's like right in your eyes, so your eyes sparkle and light fills up.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that inky
I
dink.
hope it shows our eyes.
Yeah. What kind of a makeshift inky dinky here? But yeah, I think it kind of fills up.
Fills up.
Kind of fills up the bags and circles under your eyes, and who knows? I don't know. Lighting is the whole thing, because you can look terrible with the bad lighting.
Yeah, black and white movies. That's what the lighting that they did.
The lighting in black and white films is so
Just-
wonderful.
I love them because you had to use your imagination. You had to watch and think, and it just brought out so much. Color is great, but and the acting was so much. I think so much different and in a way better. It was more. I just find the acting Well, there was studios.
Well, they worked
They
fast
worked all
too.
the
They
time,
worked
yeah.
fast too, and the directors didn't get in the way, and people didn't get in the way. The lighting was all perfect, and get in there, actors, and do it. And they just went in there and did it.
And it was the same people
And it's like
over and over again.
Yeah,
in the,
they
in the
used
same
their
films.
they used
The
their
studio
same people.
contract players.
Yeah. I mean, in John Wayne films, of course, he what did he do? He did Stagecoach. I guess that was the one where he proved that he was an actor. You know, and
Stagecoach, yes. And he had the same people.
over and over and over, he was loyal to his friends.
Well, I heard he also
Loyal to his friends.
he
I
owned their
love
contracts.
That. I
They were
love that.
part of and that's something that's gone today. It's so hard. I remember Mark Rydell and Marty Landau talking about that at the actor studio one day about years ago. You said you did a film, Rivers, and they were all actor studio people.
Yeah.
Today you can't. You got to go by, and they have this list.
Whoever's hot.
In Europe.
And even if they're not any good, they
Right.
cast them.
That's right.
And you see a guy and a girl together, and they're playing opposite each other, and it's like, good Lord! Of course, in real life, people fall in love with each other, so that's kind of it kind of gets to be a reality anyway, even if people are cast wrong for things.
I try to watch some of these new shows on television, and they'll have this girl who looks like she's 21 playing a police captain. And it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I mean, she should be in rookie camp, and they got to.
Or she should have a little bit of age makeup on her so she looks more womanly and more in control.
Now,
And
if you
stuff.
go to
It
Britain-
could be really true
Yeah.
that she could look so young
Right,
and
but-
not really be that young. But it's like you got to think of the audience too.
Look at Helen Mirren.
You have to think of the
Helen
audience.
Mirren,
I
when
love
she
her.
did Prime Suspect, she looked the part too.
Yeah, yeah.
The age was right. And
Yeah.
everybody in that cast was right for they looked
Yeah.
the part. On the American TV,
Oh,
when they bring it in,
they're so
Oh,
scared. They're so scared they're not going to get the ratings or they're going to get fired. They use hot.
Hot,
And
hot,
you
hot.
see
And young
the
kids.
same person on the same show playing. I mean, you see the same mothers, and I could play one of those mothers. And it's like you see the same mother playing on each show, and you think, oh my God, well, it's like all the same person. They wear a person out.
Yeah.
They wear a character out.
But it
They
is
wear an
American-
actor out seeing them on the
American
same
TV
show
has
on
no balls.
absolutely every show. So.
No Leones. They have no imagination. They have a rate that they want to get to like 14 to 21.
Yeah.
So you put this 16-year-old playing the part that's meant for a 50-year-old. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well they did that with Gary Cooper and that beautiful girl that was, she was a young girl, Grace Kelly.
Grace
I
Kelly.
mean, she was like, 18, and he was like in his 60s for that movie.
That was with the Rear Window. One of them?
It was that Western, High Noon.
High Noon.
But I mean, I kind of didn't care because girls kind of like go for their grandpas anyway.
Do they?
Yeah.
Hi.
Some girls,
There might be a grandfather somewhere.
you probably have a lot of children around.
I haven't been made aware of any, so I really don't know.
Women kind of keep their mouths shut about that kind of thing.
They really do. Well, in the
I
60s.
don't know. I'm not quite sure who my son belongs to.
In
I
Greenwich
mean,
Village, it was,
whose
that.
sperm it really was.
Yeah,
But,
that's an interesting. When you were talking to John Matthews yesterday about that, he was really interested about should your son know or find out, and it's really, I don't know. I never get into. It's up to
I've
you.
given him enough hints and stuff, and he's never questioned me about things. Chance kind of says, "Mom, you know how you don't want me to tell."
Why did you name him Chance?
Well,
That's some Sweet Birdie Youth, isn't it?
yeah, that was the first play I ever saw.
Oh, really? Is that why you named it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
I played that part in New
You
York
did?
back in 1968.
Oh, you're kidding.
Sweet Birdie Youth, and I met the real princess.
Oh, you did?
That Tennessee Williams. She came. I was Renata Manhard was the artistic director of the theater I was at, and she brought her in, and after one of the performances we did, I was really honored to meet her, and Tennessee Williams. And
You met Tennessee Williams
Yes.
too?
yeah, they
Did
came.
he grab your bum?
He was. Yeah, you might say. Yeah. But I mean, what a gift that was to have both of them enjoy my performance.
Oh, that's swell.
I mean,
That's swell.
But,
Wow.
and it wasn't too long after that, instead of picking up the script, I picked up the gun, and it took me like almost 30 years
What'd you
later.
do? What did you do? What'd you do? Deliver something for somebody? Some big gangster or something?
I don't know.
You're not going to talk about it, huh? You're probably smart, you know.
I don't talk
Know when to
about
keep
this.
your mouth shut. That's
Yeah.
probably why you're still alive.
We would, yeah, it is.
That's probably why you were
I
in
was
jail.
thinking-
You were taking
can I
a
tell you
rap
something?
for somebody else.
Before you came here, I was thinking about what it means to be loyal. In the life that I led, what it means to be loyal is the majority of times you're going to get screwed. You really are.
Yeah, that's
But
life.
you know what? It's a choice you make in life, and I had to accept it because I've been screwed many times, and I just have to accept it. I don't retaliate, or I don't rat, I don't do whatever. I just sit back here and listen.
You're alive, and it's now, and it's past.
But it's
and
the life I
who wants
chose.
to talk about it?
That goes along with the life.
Now you're talking about a life of like being a gangster kind of life,
Well,
right?
yeah,
A life of,
yeah.
of like
You know, not
criminal
being
life
legit,
or
yeah, yeah.
not being legitimate.
Not being in a
Well, I'll tell you something. I guess I remember when you could give a guy $300 and you could get all the channels on all the television
I remember
everywhere.
that too,
And
yeah.
I like those days.
300. We gave the guy $50.
Really? Well, you.
I remember when
you-
HBO first came out. You know, if you just got an HBO box,
It was
or
a
something,
fortune. Everything is a fortune.
Yeah, it
Everything, all these different things cost so much money to see anything.
I was.
And I love a little bit of
I used to
being
steal
able to
them
get
and then
stuff.
sell them for $100 a piece.
Yeah, I like those days. I mean, I
That's
guess
it.
I've got a little criminal in me.
But now
But
you
you know,
can't.
it's out of necessity. It's not because I don't have the money. It's I don't have the money.
I
I'm
don't
not
have the
sitting
money,
on the
right.
money, and but it's like a boy. It's like it's like if you're hungry, if you're starving, you know, you end up doing things that you would normally do.
You know,
Money is
So
a
let's
big
get
thing.
back.
Anyway, I'm looking for a way to publicize this book. Get on some talk. I mean, I'm on this
Talk shows,
Maybe
yeah.
I've got it. Maybe I've done enough just being on this show.
No, I doubt it.
Maybe I don't have to do any more.
But if anybody out there knows of a good publicist, let us know. Let Sharon or me know.
Manager kind of person
Manager.
who knows publicists,
It's a
who
shame you
knows how to get me on what shows do you get on? I don't know.
There's all-
Jay
Jimmy
Leno.
Kimmel,
It's Jay
all-
Leno. They like canned him.
Now,
right?
when is this going to come out, though?
I don't know. Well, this is the proof.
I know.
This is the only book that I have. This is the proof. See,
But I mean, is there a
And I
target
went-
date for it to be released?
I would love to get it out there for like Christmas.
Well,
Would Christmas be good?
well,
I don't know.
Well, that's what we got to
You know,
find
I'm
out.
trying to thinking. I don't know anything about when to release a book or anything like that. I don't know if there's a good time or a bad time, or you know.
I don't think
know
there'll be
about
once
those
the
things.
word gets out what this book is about. Because one
Yeah,
thing
it's all
that
about
sells
sex.
is the
love,
gossip in
and-
Hollywood. And everybody wants to know what the actors are like.
And also, I came from
In
Sioux
bed.
City, Iowa, and I went there, and I went to New York. I wasn't related to anybody. I didn't have any money, and it says if I can do it, you can do it.
You did do it.
And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to be out. I'm going to be working again because they're just not going to be able to say no to me because I'm just going to pound the door down. Because now I kind of realize how much I really love it. And it's like I never knew I loved it so much. You know?
Yeah.
Really loved performing. Really
Well,
loved it.
Comes out of you.
I like it. I like to be on a set. I like it. I like to have a spot where I can have my little dressing room and all my little stuff, you know, that I need. And I like to rehearse with the actors, and I like to be part of it, you know. And I don't know what else. What else is new?
What else is new is you. It's almost like a new you coming back after all those years.
Are you cooking that pasta in there?
I get the water's hot, and we're just about ready to end the show.
So
and
hungry.
we'll take something to eat, and then we'll come back and maybe do another one, maybe if
Ta-ta.
she's ready. So the Method Actor Speaks. This is for the publicists, okay?